unanswered questions about Freddy motherfucking Krueger. Number 1.
Does this reveal Freddy's secret massacres before the events of part 1? And
Number 2.
is this the only link to part 5? Alright, so I'll be honest. Watching this movie felt like being waterboarded with gasoline, while DMX screamed, "Y'all gonna make me lose my mind," right in my face. But hey, pain builds character and theories. Now, the movie explaining Freddy's backstory is pretty obvious. The father-daughter angle with Maggie, the missing wife Loretta being but this cum dumpster fire of a film casually drops that Freddy had victims before the events of part 1. Dream massacres that no one ever mentioned. So does that retroactively expand the lore of Freddy in the dreamscape? Maybe this is the start of Freddy's real reign, not the events from part 1, with Nancy and the original crew. So let's go over what this movie's secrets has to uncover. This works heavily into my 9 and 10, so be sure to stick around for the juicy answers, because you know I normally save the best for last. So let's get into it. When John Doe and Maggie go to the school, after that very awkward Roseanne scene,
What you doing?
Ethel! You know they bring him!
we find some more history on Freddy during his reign of terror in the 60s, his pre-KFC days. We find out about the local missing boy, Brooke Yeaton, 4 more child victims, Mike Becker, and 6 more victims found near a highway. I didn't think it was Freddy's MO to just toss bodies along a main highway, but hey, it is what it is. That's something new, I guess. We also have Bobby Glass and some unnamed victims in the newspaper as well. What's actually interesting about this is in Nightmare 1 is that Freddy kept his victims' photos and their belongings as souvenirs, even in the dream realm. This is true here as well. This same picture of Brooke Yeaton and other victims' photos can be seen in the flashback memory dream sequence of Freddy's hidden basement room. Here we get to see some of his glove prototypes and odd findings like taxidermy, these weird ass things in jars. I don't know if they're reptilians or what the fuck they are. By the way, he really likes milk and cookies. And is that handcuffs and baby lotion? What in the diddy is going on here? Are we going there again? This movie is, I'm not. You know what this means. Disgusting. In this film, Freddy also keeps his victim souvenirs in the dreamscape as well. That's one characteristic that rolled over from the first film that we never get to see again until now. This teddy bear, right beside these newspaper clippings, can be seen in Freddy's game room earlier in the film. I guess he still has a little bit of that pre-KFC version of himself, and he likes to keep trophies, if you know what I mean. So let's get into the big reveal of this. All of these victim names on the memoriam. Now all of these date way back to 1975. About 5 or 6 years before the events of part 1. That's pretty interesting, right? It's pretty interesting to see that there was untold stories beforehand that we never heard about. Especially if you consider this movie canon to the rest. But I get into the canon side of things in number 9 and 10. That's a whole nother cluster f***. But even the previous film, The Dream Child in part 5, this memoriam has a whole section dedicated to that year, 1989. Which is the year they graduated in the previous film, if you remember that. So in the opening of this film, it says this is 10 years later. So is this supposed to be 1999? I suppose, but actually, the latest date I found on that memoriam board was actually 1992. If we went by this date, this would actually put this film in 2002, just one summer before the events of Freddy vs. Jason, which would canonically make more sense, but I digress. We'll touch on that at the end of the video. Now back on topic, it's strange to me that none of the previous victims or characters have names on this memoriam. Now there have been a long list of students, I'll throw up some right here, just so you can reference it, that have been killed that is not on this list, or at least that we can't see. We obviously have 5 films worth of victims alone, but even that number doesn't match the hundreds of names that we see in the fine print here. Perhaps in a glimmer of hope, they're actually there. But as much as this film tries not, I highly doubt it. So do you find this informative at all? That we get a little bit more insights about Freddy's killings during the 60s. We finally get some names on victims, photos to match the name and face. And his first dream killings actually started in 1975, not 1981. Could some of them names be hidden away in that 1989 section from part 5? And is there even more to the story now that we know that there was killings all the way up to 1992? You decide.
Number 3.
Was 1428 Elm Street Freddy's home? And
Number 4.
is Springwood itself in a delusional dream state? This is a big debate. I've had in the comment section of this franchise and in the Discord. So first, did Freddy live in the infamous 1428 Elm Street house before he got put on a slab by the parents? The general consensus seems to be yes. However, I think no, absolutely not. And I don't know why this is such a common conception. Rather, this is a common misconception. Let's take a look at Nancy's old house. We all know this house. A nice 2-story house in a nice neighborhood, white picket fence. A nice house like this in the suburbs, these homeowners have some money. Now let's look at Freddy's house in this film. Freddy and Loretta live in a small 1-story house that you see here. I mean, it's not even structurally close. We mainly see the backyard here, but in this very small blink and you miss a moment, we actually get to see the front side of the house as well. This is still very much a 1-story house with a completely different driveway that allows you to park right in front of it. 1428 doesn't have that. Now let's talk about the other obvious thing in this movie that keeps getting thrown in our fucking face. This damn water tower. We can see this water tower is located directly behind the backyard, just off to the left a little bit. We can see this multiple times in the movie, both in the past and the present. And it's so close you can literally throw a rock and hit it. We can see this better as reference when Maggie finally sees this tower that she's been seeing the whole movie in her dreams. Especially what she says here.
Oh, I'm here.
Nowhere in this franchise have we seen this water tower behind the 1428 Elm Street house, because it was never there. Trust me, you would see this 200-foot water tower in a side-by-side suburban neighborhood. It would stick out like a sore thumb. Going back to this scene, we can actually see that Maggie is coming out of her childhood home, not the 1428 Elm Street house, which is a total delusion shared by her, John Doe, Spencer, and Tracey. I mean, the layout alone is completely different. 1428 Elm Street doesn't have a basement cellar with barn doors that lead to the backyard. We have seen the basement of the 1428 Elm Street house. This isn't it. It's because Freddy has the whole town in this dreamscape state. And Springwood, reality and dreams blend together.
He's fucking with the line between dreams and reality.
That's why Freddy can make people walk on air. Bodies just disappear. He makes people forget about the victims.
He didn't just kill Carlos and the others, he erased them.
We can see this illusion literally break as soon as they leave Springwood. So no, Freddy never lived in the 1428 Elm Street house. Even for a movie this fucking stupid, I think that concept is just downright dumb. I mean, just think about it. Freddy gets free, the parents create a mob, go put Freddy on a slab, hide his body, and now they're like, you know what, we had to keep a low profile on this. No, nobody can find out, right? So what in the hell are we gonna do about this? I know, move into his fucking house. So no, Freddy never lived there. This was solely a part of his illusion of the town, and he made that house infamous, and that might be his home in the dream realm, but not in real life. Even if you say they built onto it. No, they didn't. Not at all. When Maggie comes out of the cellar, this is still a very 1-story house. Her childhood home doesn't change. The scene with the house imploding into the 1428 Elm Street house is all part of Freddy's game. It's not reality. In reality, they're in Freddy's old house, which is Maggie's childhood home. They're not actually inside the 1428 Elm Street house. Another example of this is this drawing that they see at the orphanage, made by Catherine when she was a kid. Freddy holds up this picture later in the film, confirming it was part of his whole fucked up prank, confirming the ongoing illusion that none of this was ever real. What's up with Tracey's power of being able to come into people's dreams? Look at the scene and listen carefully.
Concentration, meditation, that's what Doc always says.
So you learned how to enter people's dreams through Doc, huh? Now, Doc to me is actually a pretty interesting character that is never fleshed out during this movie. I mean, not having any prior experience to Freddy. He's going against his job and against his studies to undergo dream therapy on his kids.
Conventional therapy is not going to work.
And dream therapy is. And you are not being paid to be a dream doctor.
That's why I gotta do what I think is right.
I mean, the first time you see him in the movie, he already has the dream monitor machine. He has the 3D glasses that Maggie uses later in the film for her dreams. They're just casually sitting on the desk. He also has extras. He then gives us the exposition on the dream demons and how they give power to Freddy, which plays out later in the film. But what exactly is Doc teaching them? It seems like he's teaching them dream control.
Because I can control my dreams.
Entering people's dreams, even though he has such a short time with them every week.
I only get 23 minutes a week with these kids.
God damn! What do you do for the rest of the shift? 23 minutes a week? That's 3 minutes a day. Easy money. Anyway, they build him up to be a dream expert therapist. And then his character doesn't do anything for the rest of the film. He just kind of sits idle until Maggie needs him. I mean, he does have that small fight with Freddy, but that doesn't lead to anything. Except for Freddy telling Doc what Doc told Maggie earlier in the film. Basically verbatim. I do like his character, but I wish they would explain how he became so versed with his dreams and taught Tracy how to enter other people's dreams. I mean, that's huge, right? We haven't seen that since the Dream Warriors and Alice when she inherited the powers. But I mean, if anything, that kind of downplays the whole dream power thing though, right? Makes it a little bit less special in my eyes if anybody can just do it. But you know what the biggest sin here is? Not bringing Max back from the Dream Warriors to play this role. Max was a G. He was there when shit hit the fan. He would have been perfect for this role. He cared about the kids legitimately. He has first-hand experience, maybe not with Freddy, but the whole backstory of the previous films. Throw Max in this bitch. Very missed opportunity.
Number 6.
Rapid fire round. So we're not going to talk about this dude in the background just magically changing ethnicities. What?
Frankly, I don't feel like playing football and date raping co-eds.
Date raping co-eds? Damn, Spencer, your dad's fucked up. So is this just reality now? Levitating? Teleporting into real life? So I get the town of Springwood is made to forget about everything. But that rule shouldn't apply anywhere else though, right? Why would it? How could it? But how does anyone not know about Springwood in Central City? It's 2 miles away. That's walking distance.
What the hell are you guys doing here? We have to figure out how to get you home.
Gotta figure out how to get you home? Bitch, you drove there. Drive them back. This isn't rocket science.
Get in that van and drive straight back to the shelter.
Oh, so now you're gonna trust the delinquent runaways who just tried escaping again with your van, that is being your only means of transportation, to get the fuck out of there. Maggie. Patrick Starr makes more sense than you. This scene of Roseanne is actually funny if you put some Halloween music behind it. Watch this. Look at Freddy breaking the fourth wall. Listen, Freddy K. We don't do that in this series. I also want to add that this was pointed out in the Discord of how these dream demons look a lot like them dog babies in part 2. Not saying there's any real connection there, but there might be. So did that big ass hole to hell just disappear? What the fuck is going on? Am I in the Twilight Zone?
Number 6.
On a serious note, how did we go from this
I know you're there, Freddy.
to this? How did we go from this to this?
I'll give you my plea and your little soul too.
How do we go from this to this? How do we go from this to I thought I was gonna lose my shit again, huh? We breaking windows and throwing chairs and bottles and stuff. You thought I was over there putting holes in my drywall, didn't you? You guys really think I let my anger get the best of me? Yeah, right.
Number 8.
This is a short one, but what happened to Weston Hills? Believe it or not, I feel like this movie has a very interesting premise. I do. Not really the John Doe angle or the father-daughter aspect with Maggie. But what happens when Freddy achieves his goal and all the kids are gone? What does he do next? It sounds good on paper, but unfortunately they face planted. And again, the only paper trail we have of this is the names we see on the memoriam that we talked about earlier. We see the effects of the town having no kids. Perfect example was the scenes at the fair and the school. But whatever happened to Weston Hills? I figured Weston Hills would be the perfect hotspot for Freddy. I don't think he would need Maggie as a conduit to get new victims. Weston Hills could have done that already. I mean, just think about it. A psychiatric hospital. It can't be exclusive to just Springwood. Surely it has some out-of-town patients, some transfers, you name it. This is the perfect hotspot for Freddy to cross-connect with people and invade their dreams. What better place than a psychiatric hospital for kids who share the trauma, who gossip about everything? I mean, Freddy invading dreams aren't exclusive to kids. He does adults as well. Sometimes. It's rare, but it's possible. In that sense, he has almost unlimited traffic here. So did the same thing happen with the hospital? Did Freddy get too greedy and just kill all the kids? I mean, every last fucking one of them? Surely not. Some say it was closed down. But if that was the case, I mean, it just reopened immediately. Because if you remember, Freddy vs. Jason, there's a buttload of kids who've been in there for years who's comatose because they took too much Hypnosil. By the time Freddy vs. Jason comes, this place is still fully functional, even expanded. Also, remind me, I gotta do a video about Weston Hills. It deserves its own video, so just remind me one day. But what do you think? In this film, in this timeline, What do you think happened in Weston Hills? Let me know.
Number 9.
Is this movie actually a sequel to Freddy's Nightmares? Or
Number 10.
is this a standalone film not connected to any of the previous films? So I've spent the whole video trying to piece together the puzzle and connect the dots. Now let's play on the other side of the spectrum. This stems from a conversation I had over at Discord that provided some pretty insightful things about this theory. So we know that Freddy's Dead completely changes the rules about Freddy's powers, the dreamscape, how he can manipulate reality, make victims defy physics, and how he has the entire town in a trance-like state. But what if I told you this has all happened before? Now, if you're not familiar with Freddy's Nightmares, it's basically an anthology series hosted by Freddy, with each episode telling a different story about a Springwood resident, who always ends up dying because Freddy is manipulating their dreams. Now, in this show, Freddy invades the dreams of everybody, not just kids, teenagers, adults, cops, couples, you name it. He has his hands on everybody in the entire town. Some of these episodes, including the pilot episode, deals with Freddy and his story itself. Matter of fact, I highly recommend the pilot episode. It's all the prequel material you need. It's pretty badass. This nearly fits hand in hand with the reality warping that we see in Freddy's Dead, such as making Tracy, Spencer, and Carlos go around circles over and over and over and over. If you're in this town, you're under Freddy's control, whether you're asleep or not. Now, if we're going this route, it's also interesting to note that Freddy's makeup and his look originates from season 2 of the TV show, long before Freddy's Dead ever came along. So if you consider the two canon, this information isn't breaking the fourth wall, because it's continuity. So perhaps Freddy's Dead is the big finale of the TV show timeline, not the previous film's timeline. The shoe fits perfectly. Matter of fact, I actually believe this now. Rewatching some of the episodes of the TV show, then watching Freddy's Dead, it's easy to make the connections. This is the most logical way to answer these baffling questions that Freddy's Dead just throws at us. But throughout these 44 episodes and 2 seasons of the TV show, you can see the similarities I'm talking about. If Freddy's Dead would have been just another episode of the TV show, you wouldn't know the difference. But as much as this does make sense, there is a pretty big discrepancy that makes me draw back a little bit. You see, in Freddy's Dead, we see exactly how the parents took revenge on Freddy later on in the film, with the parents and the Molotovs. We see the very exact thing happen in Freddy's Nightmares, but in a completely different way. In the TV show, it was a cop who, against his better judgment, finally joined the mob parents, soaking Freddy in gasoline, and then light him on fire, because Freddy was going after his daughters. In Freddy's Dead, again, they throw Molotovs. And the events, even though similar, happen in a completely different way. So there's a small dent in that theory. So let's decide if this movie is even canon to the previous films. Because as mentioned at the start of the video, no previous characters are mentioned, no prior events. There are absolutely no links to the previous film. Well, there's one. In Freddy vs. Jason, in Freddy's opening monologue, we do see clips of all the films, including Freddy's Dead. So does that make it canon? Let's talk about that before you answer. If you say yes, I won't disagree with you. But here's my standpoint. It's easier and more logical to connect Freddy's Dead to Freddy's Nightmares than it is to Freddy vs. Jason. Here's why. So sure, Freddy's Dead and the TV show changed the lore about Freddy's actual death. But actually, so does Freddy vs. Jason. In Freddy vs. Jason, the parents throw the Molotov in the window just like Freddy's Dead. But this is a direct contradiction to what Marge tells Nancy what happened in the first Nightmare on Elm Street film, where she says they poured a trail of gasoline and lit it up.
Took gasoline, poured it all around the place, and made a trail of it out the door. Then lit the whole thing up and watched it burn.
So there's a discrepancy no matter which way we put it, no matter which way we go. There's a scene in Freddy's Dead where Freddy kind of mentions the previous films.
They tried burning me. They tried burying me. They even tried holy water.
But that could just be loose retellings of similar events that happened in the Freddy's Dead timeline instead of the previous films. So both timelines are similar, but also slightly different. Both ways work. So unfortunately, no matter which way we answer this question, no matter which answer we choose, the film canon or the TV show canon, Freddy vs. Jason puts a dent in both of these. So we can't really credit or discredit whichever canon you choose because there's so many retellings of the events. So unfortunately, there is no magical answer this time. But let me know what you think. Personally, I think Freddy's Dead is the grand finale of the TV show. Just because everything legit lines up, it makes sense. The weird things of Freddy's Dead has already happened in the TV show. And everything aligns perfectly, except Freddy's death. Rather than the previous film's canon, which rewrites everything twice and is only referenced in the Freddy vs. Jason flashbacks. So, you decide. Which one do you pick? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. With that being said, if you have any theories about New Nightmare, feel free to drop them in the Discord. The Discord is absolutely free. It's just a hangout spot. If you have a nice theory that holds some weight, and I like it, I will credit you in the video. I also have a YouTube membership where you get exclusive videos, live streams, requests, custom emojis, loyalty badges. I do monthly giveaways. There's a long list of benefits if you want some more content for yourself. Thank you guys so much for taking part of your day to kick it with me. You know I appreciate it. Until next time, where I'll see you in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, one of my personal favorites. I'll see you then. I love you all. I appreciate you. Adios.